What's up?
Hey,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I was just doing the first little couple seconds, and Omni Muscle's in the house too. So
Awesome.
that's really good. And so usually with like the first episode of a show, like we're talking to ourselves, but you have a gigantic following, so I'm sure that it's gonna load up. And I haven't really posted that much, Kim. Like I want to post more today, but I just kind of got slammed. So
Well, that's what you have me for.
right. You've been
I
very, very
post the
active.
crap out of everything.
Yeah, I kind of flaked out 2 nights ago. I put up a post. I don't know if people realize that, but I was like so tired, and I was telling Kim, I was like, Kim, if you don't want to do this show, I'll just erase. You can erase my number. We don't have to do it. Yada yada. You're like, what the fuck is going on? And I was like, I was sitting at a massage chair at Planet Fitness, and like, have you ever been so tired where you want to go to sleep but you can't?
Yeah,
That's what I felt like. It was really
totally.
bizarre. Yeah. So I'm sorry for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think for this episode, I think what we're gonna do, I mean, if you're cool with it, like it's a 50-50 or like a 40-40, and Omni's got the other 20 because he's very active. And following your lead, I'd love to have Nurse Kim be active as well because she's really cool.
Yes.
Maybe just kind of talk about where we come from, like social media wise and like other things that we've done. You definitely start if you'd like, or I start, however you want.
So where I started with social media, is that what you're asking?
Yeah, everything
Oh,
fitness industry, I guess, altogether.
oh. Well, in the fitness industry, I started 15 years ago with training and competing. And then I got into modeling with Rob Sims. And he's the one that really pushed me to get into social media and get on every platform I could. Um, LinkedIn, everything, Twitter, all of that. He's like, work all of those platforms, get your pictures out there. It was a huge learning experience, and so I did. I mean, I'm on quite a few. I just don't work them, I anymore. I used to, up until about 4 or 5 years ago, and then I stopped. I just focus on a couple of them. But then I was working for her biceps webcam. I worked for them for a couple of years, and I built up a clientele, and that's where I met Joe Pietero from MSM. He kind of picked me up from there, and we chatted, and I started watching his show, and then became one of his maidens for Muscle Sport Media. And then he kind of opened some doors for me, traveling and stuff with him, and meeting people that I wouldn't have met, like PJ and other people I wouldn't have had the opportunity to meet like that, because
Right.
we were actually interviewing these people. We weren't just there just to socialize and chat. We were
Right.
there to get content. You
Exactly.
understand about content. So
Totally.
we were there at the Olympia. We were there at the LA Fit Expo. We were there at the Utah, the FitCon.
Right.
I mean, several times. And so, opened up a lot of doors, and I just, I kept rolling with it, and I really actually I didn't use social media so much to build myself. It was more to promote other people
Mm.
like Rob, like MSM, like you, like PJ. I mean, for me, it's not a matter of me getting all these followers and fans. It was more about meeting great people,
Mm.
and having those people support me and be behind me and
Right.
what I was doing and enjoy my content, my pictures, all of that. I mean, it's fun for me, I mean, you can say it's kind of a job because in a way it is, but I mean, in another way, it's just something I do for enjoyment. It's
Definitely.
fun. I don't have to have, 375K
Hmm.
to feel important. I
Well,
could have 3 followers
right.
and feel fantastic.
Most
Okay.
people,
Not
yeah, most
about
people that have
quantity. For me,
375K
it's
are
about quality.
right. Sorry,
What
most
about
people
you?
that have like 375K don't even really have those are bought. But
Right?
yeah, I mean, it's one of those things too. Like Joe and I had a horrible break, but before that, I did a show like 6 times, and um, it was good. It was good. I mean, like you said, that we all do that. We all try to create content. And I'll tell you one thing that I really miss was Iron Mac TV, which
Yeah.
that was awesome. We had Valentino, we
Yeah.
had Big Frank. I'm cool with all those guys, you know, and
Yeah.
I really want, you know, I really want, I got to look at the name of the show. It's All Fair Game. It's just, we just started it. I really want this to be the first piece. And then I'm talking to, and this shadow here, I'm trying to get rid of the shadow, but there's shadows everywhere. We got to just deal, we got to deal with it. But, and like, I'll just put all my OCD out there. Like, this is like, I'm just going to say whatever I want. You say whatever you want. It's just like the nature of it.
All right.
You know, I would love to have that again, you know, because I think original content is just so important. And but I want it to be, you know, finding sponsors is important too, and that's why, like, we had said that we would go like 6 or 8 episodes, even talking to ourselves, which fortunately we have 8 people in here, and that's awesome. And you know, reels are great, and we've got a really good Facebook group thanks to you and me, and Omni's done so much. We got 110 people, so and that happened in like 4 days. So I think it's great. I think it's great. And the thing too is, like, with talent, this is good to have a co-host, because like I think to fly solo is it's almost like it's too easy, because you have no one to counteract you, no one to disagree.
Yeah.
It's like you're talking to yourself almost.
Yeah. I really would like to talk about your interview with Mark last night.
Yeah, that was really good. I had told him, because I always tell my interview guests, I always tell them, you know, because Jim Mannion, president of PC, and everybody knows how loyal I am, but I'm just saying, he says 3 minutes is like the window at a show for a competitor interview. And he's right, because after 3 minutes, people kind of like, they lose attention. And then for like an online interview, it could be like, you know, 10, 15 minutes, something like that. So I always tell people, and I no longer do contest coverage, you know, because I just don't. I'm in a different place. You know, it's interesting because now I'm running the Blackstone Labs Legion, and that's such a great honor for me.
Yeah, it's great.
And then Strength Addicts is always there. You know, Blackstone Title sponsors it, and Titan Medical Support sponsors it, which is huge. And but I mean, you know, with regards to the interview with Mark, you know, if it's an interview that I really like today I had Danita McCants, and I love that interview, and I told her 15 minutes, it was 25, but I said 10 to 15, and it was like 53 minutes long. But Omni Muscle's a big fanboy of Mark's, he says, which is great. I mean, I'm a big fanboy of a lot of competitors, just because I really look up to him, you know, and it was just great. He talked about everything, and one of the things he really talked about was like how, you know, he had to like take a step back from the stage a few years ago, because it was like literally destroying his home life. And his home life is more important to him than a trophy or a pro card or whatever. But to a lot of people, it's not. I've seen a lot of people like literally throw their marriages away.
Just it'll give up everything for it.
And some don't even compete. You know, we know people, no names. You know, we've seen marriages like just crumble because of the fitness industry. I mean, they don't even compete, but they're in this industry, and they want the clout. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. I was able to like kind of get portions of you and Mark, your interview last night, and I thought the interview was super positive, super. It was funny in some aspects, you know, but I enjoyed it. And I will say this: I'll throw this right out there, and I'm like you. I'm not afraid to say what I think. That is not the man that I saw 4 years ago on social media. That is a completely different person in a better way, and he looks so much happier, and he put himself out there in such a different way than what I saw him. I was pleasantly pleased. I was like, you know what? I'm glad that interview changed my mind about him, because it was a rough experience with him, and he probably doesn't even remember who I am and what happened. But you know what? He sure has taken a step up, and it's pretty awesome to see. So that was a great interview. Good job.
Yeah. I mean, he mentioned yesterday he was Jewish, which is a beautiful religion, you know, but there's a lot of like bigoted people in the industry, and he's taken a lot of like bigotry over that. He's taken people attacking him for his height, which he didn't care about his height, but you know, the religion, that's very like messed up. But and then there's some people that are very, very popular now on social media that have actually gone after his family, and that's like really not cool.
Oh, that's not
horrible. Like wives, kids, no. But some people, like, you know, the thing is they the same way that I feel like people are all fine destroying their marriages and not being fathers and not being good children to their parents because they want to chase the cloud in the industry. By the same token, they have no morals in the sense that they'll go after people's families if it means getting hits. And I'm friends actually with some people that took some stabs at him, and I didn't know. And he read me the riot act, but so I basically told him kind of like, it's kind of like, I didn't know, and I tried to make the case that he couldn't be mad at me because I didn't know beforehand. And if I would have known, I would have probably said something, and he accepted that, which is cool. But at the same time, it's interesting because like you have to be careful too not to fight other people's battles, even though I agree 100,000,000% that, and I do, you should never attack families. At the same time, for me to take someone else to task for them doing that to him, I may be right, but they might also be like, who are you? Are you related to him? Are you part of his family? Like, are you just like some do-gooder? You know what I mean? And that could blow up in my face. And then who's to say that they make peace down the road at some time and I'm now the odd man out, So it's like, it's a weird, it's just a weird situation. It's kind of like in the movies, like where the guy tries to white knight to protect the girl that's being beat up by her boyfriend, and then the girl and her boyfriend beat up the guy. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't anticipate that happening, but the thing is that he's made peace with some pretty bitter rivals. Him and Mac Truck used to go at it pretty hard, and now they're business partners.
I saw that. Yeah, I was really, like I said, I don't want this whole show to be about that, but I would say that I was pleasantly pleased with just how he came across, how he spoke was completely different than 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, he's always been nice to me, but I could get that.
I was really, I'm glad, like I told you, I said, I'm glad I'm going to step back and take another look at him and watch the interview and hopefully have it changed. That's kind of maturity. I'm 52. I'm not, I'm not a little girl. I'm not here to make friends, but I'm here to give people an honest chance. What I mean? Sure. And so that to me was a big thing, But I think this whole thing is going to be great. I've been working on some people to get on the show. So some big names, some nice interviews. So I've been doing that today. So it'll be fun to set them up over the next, few 6-7 weeks and, get that party started. It'll be fun.
Sure.
I think people enjoy that.
Yeah, and I know that you're big on that. Like so for the folks that'll see this, I think 99% of people are going to see this on replay and it'll be chopped up in the reels, but you're really big on the guests, because I already do the interviews weekly, 4 or 5 a week. But you're real big. I know there's some guests that you want to have on.
Absolutely.
You mentioned maybe one that I know that we both want, Alexis from Made to Macro. We want her on.
Oh yeah, I messaged her actually about a T-shirt. So I'm working on. So I'm working on Tony Huge.
Nice.
Greg Valentino.
Nice.
He loves my hair. And I have some of his T-shirts, the Don't Be a Momo T-shirt that I want to wear during that interview. So I'm working on Greg. I've got a few people that I've been working on today. So, it'll be fun.
Yeah, I was supposed to interview Tony some time ago. We're both lawyers and we talked here and there. And he's a really nice guy, but I think you're a lot closer to him than I am. But that would be great. And the thing with Greg, it was so cool at the Arnold that year. Like it was me, Greg, Lucia, Rob DiMaggio, owner of Iron Mike Labs, and Preston, who was like a partner. We all stayed in this house and it was great. Big Frank was doing shows for us, but he wasn't signed yet. So he was just doing shows and we met up with him there. So we would have loved to have him at the house. I like Big Frank a lot. But just it was really bad. And there was a lot of stuff going on and, and of course, in hindsight, I wish I would have taped a lot of these calls, but who tapes phone calls? A lot of stuff went on, but it's all on water under the bridge. But I loved, for a minute there, we were really doing well. The problem is we didn't have a set, Greg said on one of his videos, he said, well, what am I doing? Am I trying to get hits or am I trying to get coupon codes? And every week it would change. And that kind of fell on me because I was in charge of all the shows. But my orders came from the top. Like I was an employee just like they were, like a contract or whatever. And so I told Chris Griffin, I want to do Down and Dirty with the Goon. I want to bring him back. And I said, if you can hit 250 views, maybe get 10 comments, we're set, and that, but at least that he knows that that's like what I'd like to see.
Yeah.
We didn't know that, and it would change week to week. So like guys like Frank and Greg, I mean, they were noticeably frustrated because they're like, what the fuck? Like we're getting the hits, but now you want to do this. Now we're doing this. You want to do this. And it was like,
right.
So I totally, yeah, I mean, I would love to have a network. And I think the big thing too, Kim, is that getting the sponsorships and knowing how much money we have, and then just being able to say, okay, we're going to do this for a year. Because that's another thing too. It's very like uncomfortable to not know, am I going to have a show next week? Am I going to be here next month? And then you have guests. Right. You don't want to look like an idiot and be like, oh, well, the show that I was going to have with you doesn't exist anymore. So, it's tough. It's tough to do that.
It is. It is tough. But like you said, not too long ago, you said, get on there, do a live and just start talking. And if one person shows up, great. Come back again. Two people show up that time, great. Come back again. I mean, your advice was really good, I mean, when I first started my lives, I mean, it was, I was really kind of surprised at the following that I got and the people that I got on my page,
Right.
But the whole reason why I made another page was because I wasn't able to get on live on my main page, which is the one that I got, 150 people on at a time when I would do a live.
Right.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
And those people are still messaging me, where's your lives? When are you doing your lives? So, trying to pull them over here, and say, hey, I'm going to be over here now. I mean, that's, that's going to be some work too, but I can do that. I can do it.
Sure. What would you say, what would you say is like the most frequently asked question that you get, like by people, like if you could just like tell everybody, like, I mean, is there?
I don't want to know that.
Huh?
You really don't want to know that.
Because I'll be honest with you, when I first saw you, in the PJ orbit, I was like, okay, well, she was from Muscle Sport Mag, so therefore, she's got to hate me, because a lot of people from there hate me, like, I don't think Crystal is a big fan of mine, and I don't think.
Oh, she loves me. She loves me.
Okay, but I don't think she's a big fan of me. There's
I'm being sarcastic. Okay.
Yeah. There's a few people from there that I used, when I was going on there a lot, I thought were cool with me, but like they, and that's fine. You have got to, if you identify with them or 5% or black, whatever you do, I mean, that's totally fine. But I just assumed because, we started interacting and then we did our interview, which was fantastic. And I would have zero problem. Like if you were over there, you decide to go back over there, it would be no problem for me at all. But the thing is that, I assumed just because, and it's a horrible thing to do. But I did it. And I try to make peace with everybody. I don't think I could make peace with Joe anytime soon. It was just too much there. But like Frank, I made a video about, the old Iron Mag TV days. And he left a really nice comment on my YouTube. And Greg, we never had a falling out. I mean, I fired Greg, and I was fired a week after that. And it wasn't because, and I remained friends with Rob. And then 2 months later, I was back writing articles and doing a show. It's just business, I mean, all kinds of money were coming out for him. And if I could go back in time, you know what I would have done? I would have just kept Greg and maybe Frank, and that's it. But and Goon. But the thing is, we had like over 12 shows. And it was just like money flying out, and then these graphics were like a fortune, and I didn't know how to negotiate those properly, and it was insanity. And so, but Greg got the hits, Frank got the hits, and Goon was getting the hits he was coming up to. He's different though, because he's a prep guy, and he really knows like gear, like really, really good. Like he could teach a class on it. So he was like starting to blow up, and then it all pull the plug a little bit. But
Well, I mean, in all due fairness, I mean, you come across people in your path and they're
yeah,
stepping stones,
right.
just like they use you as a stepping stone. I mean,
Who was?
well, people in your past,
Oh, yeah.
like MSM, it was a time that was great, and we promoted each other and we're still friends, but I'm moving on. I mean, I got an opportunity to meet people through them or through Joe and the show, and it just opened up another door for me, another avenue, and
Yeah,
so I moved on, and that's the way it should be. I
right.
don't, who I was, who I am, and who I will be are three different people.
Exactly.
Okay. So I was one person with MSM, and I'm
Mhm.
here with you now,
Right.
and I'm doing the Blackstone Lab thing and
Right.
all of that. And then in the future, I'm gonna be moving on and doing other things too, and hopefully taking my tribe with me, and
Sure.
growing. And that's the way it should be. It should
Yeah,
be that.
it really
There should
should.
be no resentment or bashing or mean, hateful things being said. It shouldn't
Right.
be like that.
Yeah,
That,
definitely.
that's a level of maturity that some people never get. Some people stay doing the same thing
Yeah.
all the time because they're afraid to step out and do anything else.
Right.
And I'm not afraid. I
No, and
am
I'm
not
not
afraid.
either. And Omni and Nurse Kim too, and to include them as well. I mean, Nurse Kim's interview was amazing, and I know her full name, but like Nurse Kim is her IG, and like IG's become like your names, And I know Omni's name is Roc, but Omni Muscle, everybody. But yeah, I mean, that's
Right.
kind of like what I want to do with the show too. Like I'm only like 40% of the show, and I really mean that because like, or even less. I want all of us. I want Kim, Omni, you, and me to be really
Yeah.
like the foundation.
Involved. Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure. Mhm.
and the thing is, and we can do like the what do you call it, the room where we have four people. I know it looks like I'm making the sign of the cross, but I'm just meaning like there's like four people, and all
Oh no,
four of us
yeah.
could be on here.
Yeah, people
You
do
know,
that all the time. I watch that all the time.
yeah, and so and that would be really cool. But the thing too is like I want to be able to grow as well, and I know that like during the Iron Mag days, like Iron Mag TV days, like I was in a bad spot. It's just a lot of pressure,
Yeah.
and I don't want it to be like that, and it doesn't have to be like that in the future. You know what I mean? With Blackstone Labs, though, the level of trust that PJ has for me, I mean, we love each other. Me going down there, to the headquarters, and him, we did like we did like 20 takes, and it bothers me because the one thing that bothers me about PJ, and I'll be honest with you, I'll say it right here, is that he's so nice and he gets burned by so many people. Like just now, this Joe Reiser thing. I mean, it's like very upsetting because like he like literally bends over backwards for people and then he gets burned and over and over and
Yeah.
over. And it's like it's sad because like he's a very emotional guy like I am. Um, but now I think we have a great team. He's got Billy Gagliardo's awesome. He's like the GM of the place. The call center's kicking ass. I'm doing my best with Jen Strobo. Jen Strobo's training me, so I'm like about 80% there, running the Legion. And yeah, it's great. I mean, the products are amazing. So I'm excited for the Olympia. I think the Olympia is going to be great.
Yeah.
And the Legion's so awesome because I'm working with so many awesome people like yourself, and like I've coached a few people to like come out of their shell more, and they're just killing it. I think once you do a live or once you put out a story or you put out a video, it's like it gets easier each time you do it. You
Oh
just
yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
yeah.
That's one thing that I learned from Rob Sims is that one of the first things he taught me was how to speak on camera. I remember I was working for a supplement company and I did a photo shoot in Malibu. This was in 2014, 13 or 14. And he threw a duffel bag full of their supplements on the ground in front of me. And we were on this huge cliff, right? And he had this tripod and his camera set up. And he handed me a microphone and said, I'll give you a few minutes to read up on each one of these supplements. And then I want you to talk about each one of them. Whoa. I had never been in front of a camera with a microphone in my life, right? we did so many takes.
No, it was crazy.
And he was so patient, but you know what? I did it and I rocked it and it was awesome. And then I started going to powerlifting events and working with him there and doing interviews and handing out trophies and talking to people and
Yeah.
and plugging the supplements. I mean, I learned a lot about being on camera, being in front of people and not being afraid, you know, that confidence level. He really built that, you know.
Definitely.
So when I was with Joe for MSM, he was getting me to do interviews, and he's like, you know, I want you to do more interviews. You know, he kept pushing me, you know,
I
do
tell
more
you
interviews.
something.
You look great in front of the camera. Do more interviews. And you
Yeah.
know, it was a learning experience, and that's awesome. You know, that's what this is all about.
I was so tempted. It was like a little part of me, very little part of me. So I really don't like Joe. I'll be honest, I really don't, because of everything that went on. But a little part of me, I saw him at the Olympia, and a little part of me wanted to just say, "Hey, man, what's up?" Just because, like, you know, the thing is, like, time. I am a big believer, Kim, that time heals everything, and I never
That's
took it that personally. I'll be honest with you. Before the Arnold, though, I was a little scared. Like, they were talking about bum rushing the Iron Mag booth, and like, Muscle Sports got like a lot of people, you know, and I was like, this could be bad. So I was a little concerned, but I don't hold grudges, you know. I don't. And the thing is like, I never had a relationship with Greg. Like, I never did. I did the show because of Joe. I did 6 episodes because of Joe. I'd go on there, I'd talk to Joe. Joe would email me about, oh, like, questions. I'd email him back. It was good. I liked him,
yeah,
you know.
for sure.
But then what happened was the Iron Mac thing happened, and Iron Mag was spending all kinds of money on RX and MD, and on my site too, a lot less on my site, obviously, but still. And the owner was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to do original content, and that's what he hired me for. He paid me very well, and I recruited, and I started with, and I took Greg, not took him away from Joe. Joe had already fired him. Greg didn't have anything. I said, Greg, do you want to do this? And he did. And, you know, I never took anyone from him per se. Comerica Muscle wished me a happy birthday, and Joe got real mad at that. And so I guess he kind of like fired him or something. And then Comerica came over to us. So it was like, but never actually like wanted to take anyone away. And I always felt bad. And I tried to explain to him, and I actually fought for Muscle Sport with Rob, and Rob will even say that, but he just didn't want to do advertising anymore. And that's why for our show as well, it's going to be very hard. For me, it was very hard to get Blackstone to title sponsor Strength Addicts and Titan to title supporting sponsor Strength Addicts. They would sponsor contest coverage in a heartbeat, but to sponsor what I do every day took a little bit more selling, and I had to show them what I do and the consistency. But it's hard to do. It's really hard to do, you know. And that's where advertising is now, you know, and that's why it's going to be hard for us. But like, we do 8-10 episodes, we'll be able to do it. I know we can do it, but it's hard, you know. And you've got to be, and you can't relax. Like the magazines, like, you know, the big magazines back in the day, they would get a contract for a year. Not to say that they, you know, sit on their ass for 11 months, but they would really kill it that first month, and then they were kind of coasting because they knew checks coming in every month, you know.
Yeah,
Like a lot of the bodybuilders back in the day, in the glory days, they would do 1 or 2 photo shoots a year, but they'd still get 12 checks, a check every month in the mail for like
yeah,
$5,000. They would do nothing.
yeah.
Those days are gone. They're gone. You know what I mean? And so, and it's but I understand his position, because it's hard not to be resentful. Like, I have this sponsor for like 10 years. All of a sudden I don't. And this guy's the new marketing director. It's this guy's fault I don't have that. That's not the case. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you want to try to figure out a reason, even if there is none. And so that's got to be the reason. And it wasn't, you know, but
Well, maybe again, you know, people have to grow and change and
yeah.
advance, you know, and do
If he
things
said
that,
hello to
that
me, I would say
promote
hello
their
back.
business more in the direction that they want to go.
Yeah.
And
Like I
so, I
said,
mean,
yeah.
you're good
I
at what
mean,
you do. So, you
thank
know,
you.
I,
Thank you. You
I
are
could
too. And
see
he
it.
is. He's very good at what he does, you know, and like, it was unfortunate, but that was also 3 years ago. So if he was to say hello to me, I would say hello back. It's like, and that's the
Right.
thing. But I don't know that he would. And I'm, you know, maybe I should say hello first, but you know, I'm not there yet. But that's what this show's all about. Like, I'm just openly putting that out there, you know, and this could
Yeah. Yeah.
easily, because that's the thing, Kim, you know this, I know this, Omni, Kim knows this. Anything we say, they can chop this off and make a little funny video, you know, but I'm okay with that because I'm trying to like, I'm not trying to be like a bullshitter. I'm really trying to like be a little bit better person. And I'm
Yeah.
obviously not there yet because I can't, I can't bring myself to do it, but at least I could talk about it,
You're
I'm not
there.
saying I'm going to call the guy or like, I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying I could,
But the fact that you're talking about it
yeah,
openly,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
that's a big deal, which is what other people are not doing. So that speaks
yeah.
volumes about you and
Thanks.
speaks volumes about them. So it's
Thank you.
okay.
I
It's not a
appreciate it.
big deal. But
But
anyway, so I'm like super excited about this. I'm excited about getting our guests on and working together and interviewing and talking about fitness and food and drama.
definitely.
There's a
And drama
whole
is
bunch of
energy
drama out
too.
there.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to have, we talked about this. Sorry, I'm like, it's this. I
Oh
would love
yeah.
to have Big Lenny on here. I love
Oh
Big
yeah.
Lenny. I'd love to have Jason on here. Brad, Big Brad, all those guys. There's certain misfits that, will go nameless. I'm not going to say anything that I would prefer not to have on here just because
You mean Jay
I don't,
Master? Yeah, Jay Masters. I wouldn't want on here.
I,
You know,
but I mean, like, you know,
he
but I
made
mean,
his
like,
bed. I said Jay Masters made his bed. He's gonna sleep in it because I won't. I mean, he made the big apology on MSM to me, but I mean, forgiveness is more for me, and I forgave him after the first time he bashed me, on social media and his drunk, tyrants, only because I
yeah,
pointed out the obvious because he was drunk and he was talking shit about Hamburg and taking a gun and shooting Hamburg in the head, and I
oh my
stuck
God.
up Hamburg. And I said, "You're drunk. You're drunk." And he got pissed off, and he's never let up since until just a few months ago when he apologized on MSM to me about bashing me about adopting my grandchildren. And that was pretty low, and he knew it was low, and Joe agreed with him that that was not a cool thing to say. So you can blame it on the alcohol if you want, but you know what? Forgiveness is more for me than him, and I let go of that a long time ago. But I'm going to throw that out there because I know these trolls are going to see this, and I have never in a year and a half, I guess it's been a year and a half, almost 2 years, I have never spoke publicly about it, never once. And he's bashed me. He said horrible things about me that weren't true at all in any way, shape, or form, and on social media. And I never, ever, ever fought back. I just let him prove who he was by his lives. And I just went about my life and I'm happy. I have no reason to be an unhappy person. And so it's like, I pitied him because he was such an unhappy person. It was sad,
Yeah,
but really it had nothing to do with me. It had everything to do with where he was in his life.
I never had an issue with him. Be honest with you, like I would watch his lives all the time. I actually liked him. I told him many times I thought he was a really nice guy.
You thought his lives, he was a really nice guy.
It was all right. It was
Did
funny.
you see what?
He was entertaining.
Are you
I
kidding
liked him,
me?
but the thing is, no, he was cool. I mean, you call him
Oh my
Dookie or whatever.
goodness.
I mean, it's whatever. Ron Harris does it too, but he doesn't mean to do it. He just thinks that's not. But the thing is like, but then all of a sudden he thought that I didn't like PJ. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like PJ and I are like super tight. Now I'm like working for PJ. I'm in charge of the Black Swan Labs Legion. This is the most important. PJ says all the time. It is the most
Yeah.
important thing for him. But
Mhm.
just you can't reason sometimes with people for whatever reason, and
Because he's
and then
drunk. He's drunk all the time. You can't
I,
you can't reason with a drunk
right.
person. There's
But
no
no, but
point in arguing.
yeah, I mean, for me, but for me, the main people from the Misfits that I wouldn't bring on, they're not even really Misfits, but they're like in the peripheries. And Mark would kill me. Mark Lowblender, who I interviewed, you asked me, I interviewed him yesterday. And there's people in the peripheries that I will talk to here and there that I like, but that I could never bring on here because then that would be disrespecting Mark. And but you could bring him on. I just can't bring him on. That's the beauty of the show because it's a two-person show plus Kim plus Omni. If Omni or Kim was like, I want to bring this person on, I think they should be able to, because I want them to be part of this. Like we're part of this. But I'm just saying I would not. But it's not. It's not Jay. It's people. I don't think it's people that cross the line with Mark that I still talk to, and I don't even want to say their names because I like them. But I don't like that they did that. And like I said earlier, I don't want to go as far as fighting Mark's battle, because again, that's not my place. But I also don't want to like contribute to them because this show is gonna blow up. This show is gonna blow up. And when we did the interview at Strength Addicts, we were hitting like 100. Now, granted, 80 of them were trolls, but I don't care. A troll's got a pulse, an internet connection. A troll can buy supplements. You know, a troll is a person. So you have 100 live. That's a big deal. You know. And then the only other thing that I would say is there are others who I've been trying really hard to get. Dale Chance. Everybody knows how much I love Dale. I love Dale. He's awesome. But Dale is like, he goes through like periods where he's like pulled away a little bit from the limelight, which makes sense because when he's in the limelight, people just inundate him. Like he's started new pages he's had to because like whatever, Instagram's being weird or whatever, and he'll blow up. He'll get 20,000 followers like that. I mean, that's how popular the guy is. And he's a real guy. I mean, this guy, you saw his car accident. You drive by that car accident, you assume everyone's dead, and let alone he comes back and he's like bodybuilding again, and he's a monster. He's a really strong guy.
He is definitely. He was very cool to me and reached out to me when Jay started bashing me, and he was very sweet to me and very respectful, and he was, you know, he totally sympathized. Because I mean, Jay, it was in the height of all of it, and Jay was really coming down on Kim Haynes, and Dale was very supportive and very sweet to me, and I totally appreciated that, you know. And every once in a while, you know, I'll DM him and hey, how you doing, you know, something. But I mean, he was very kind, so he understood because Jay had bashed on him for so long. He knew what I was going through, you know, so.
Yeah. I removed myself from the whole MSM thing with the Iron Mag break. And I'd be honest with you, like when it was heated, I was still, people were in my ear telling me what was going on. And when Frank left and went into the interview and Chris Brock left into the interview, Comerica left into the interview. Yeah, that was kind of like the process for a lot of people. They would leave, go there, do an interview, bash me. A little secret, Kim. I shouldn't say this, but I have seen the Aspwick Frank interview, the Comerica interview, and the Chris Brown interview maybe like 100 times. Even the one Comerica did with Goon. Now, why do I watch it? I don't watch it and get angry. I watch it and I laugh my ass off. It's funny to me because the whole show is about me, and I get it, but I'm not laughing at the people because the people were like, in their own right, were upset because of perceived wrongs. And I'm not laughing at that because if it had been me, I would have been just as upset. I would have wanted answers. I would have felt like I got fucked over. But I know that I didn't do that. But I'm laughing at the fact that here's this whole show where people are calling me Dookie and like laughing at me for being bald and whatever. But it's about me. It's weird. It's kind of like when Greg Valentino used to say back in the day. I think it was a Carson Daly interview. He says, "What's up, Seth?" He says. I go into a party and I flex my arms, and all the girls are like, "That's gross," but all their boyfriends leave the girlfriends to come see me. And then Carson Daly or somebody says, "Isn't that kind of gay?" And Greg is like, "It's not about that. I don't even think of it that way. I think of it as attention, which is what it is. It's attention. It doesn't the gay all that doesn't matter. It's attention. At the end of the day, it's attention. People are coming to you, and so but I don't." Like I download them, so he's not getting the hits off of it. But still, I watch him. It's hilarious to me. But yeah, I mean, I just feel like, you know, I would totally like, you know, I would totally like work with those guys again, possibly. So a lot of those guys, you know, and like people. But besides those interviews that I watch because I have them downloaded, I started to pull away from the MSM thing. So by the time I was like totally gone, I think is when you and Jay were having all these issues. I was not in there. So I only came to find out about that. I went off on a little tangent there, but I only found out about your issues with Jay because you told me, because I didn't know anything about that. And yeah, it's unfortunate because, you know, when I was doing the interviews at MSM, and then even during the Iron Mac Lab 2017, 2018 war that we had, it was a war. As sad as it sounds, a social media war, but it was. You were like a queen over there. You and Crystal Wildfire were like the queens. Like nobody fucked with you guys. You, Crystal Wildfire, and there was one more.
Jesse? Ink Jesse?
No.
Oh, Thea.
Yeah.
Thea Renee. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was actually
What's her husband's
us
name?
four were the ones.
Crazy Hawk's wife. Yeah. So
Yeah,
those,
yeah. Uh-huh.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so they were like, you guys were like it. So I would think you guys were like untouchable in the sense of anybody like stepping up. So that's why when you told me this, I was like, oh, that's I didn't know, but yeah, it's one of those things. So yeah, there's a lot of people I would love to have on, like Dale, and that's like a different like little realm of the Misfits because you got that's like the decom
Yeah.
realm. You got
Yeah.
Cornelius, you got Dale, you got this. There's a few of them over there, Kevin DeHaven, and then there's like the real, I would say real, but the South Florida Misfits, and then Jason's like on his own because from
Yeah.
what I
Yeah,
understand,
yeah.
he's not even part of that group.
Yeah.
Um,
But there's such a split in them right now. I mean, going on that,
He's the nicest guy. I mean, I interviewed him, and granted, my level of knowledge of Jason is very limited. But when I interviewed him, he was like super, super nice. I've never
yeah.
met his mom, but those are all nice guys. I think Big Lenny calls me Christian Duque, which is hilarious.
Dude.
And Brad's super quiet though. I couldn't read him very well. The nicest guy is Andrew though, Prince Andrew, super nice guy. Those are all very, very genuine, and they really deserve all the fame that they've gotten. I mean, and they get some crazy numbers. I mean, they put some big numbers on the boards. In fact, we were supposed to, just to give you an idea how many shows we had, we were actually supposed to do a show with Big Lenny for RMI TV. And we were like negotiating. There was at a time, I'm going to shut up here. I want you to talk more, but we were negotiating with two people. We're negotiating with Big Lenny and his camp, which is really Andrew and Brad. And then we're negotiating with Boston Lloyd. But Boston Lloyd, I like Boston, but Boston didn't want to have an Iron Mag logo on the video. I'm like, well, dude, we're going to pay you, so you have to have. He's like, no, that's selling out. It's like, I'm sorry, my man, if you don't want to do that, we can't work with you. And then Big Lenny, like, that was my fault. I didn't follow through. I was a little overwhelmed. And they did something really, really nice, Kim. They wished me a happy birthday. I still have not heard it, but they wished me a happy birthday apparently on one of their podcasts, and they never said thank you because I didn't even know it happened. And so that really soured it, and they got real upset. And then they were like, "We don't want to do anything with you." But I didn't know. I didn't like watch their show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't listen to.
Yeah.
I guess you listen to a podcast. I didn't listen to it. But PJ's been on there, and they've had some really big guests on there. Like I said, it's a very big deal, and I probably should have listened at the time, but I didn't. So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
I bet we could get PJ on here.
oh, yeah.
Also, is Seth here right now? I can't read the comments. You got to know that being the second person in, I can't see any of the comments. Only you can.
No, okay. Then next week you're gonna be on top. I know that sounds really
Okay.
like, that sounds
Because
like something else.
Seth wants to come on as a guest as well.
Oh sure, yeah, absolutely. I don't know how we bring on a third.
We'll have to figure that one out.
Okay. Yeah, well, definitely, absolutely. Anybody that wants to jump on, especially if you know them.
Well, 3 and 4. I mean, you can do 4 people.
Oh, can we? Okay.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what I'm doing. So he should be coming on. I just sent him. He declined it. He says, but we can send someone else. And the thing is when he came in, he might have been like able to. Maybe now he's eating. Who knows? Like that was like 10 minutes ago.
No,
anybody that wants to join,
prepare too.
Yeah, anybody that wants to join, just hit a. What's up, Big Dave List? How are you? Anybody that wants to jump on, that's also the nature of the show. And again, I don't anticipate Joe or someone like that coming in here, but if they did and they wanted to request to go live, like I said, it's all fair game. It's going to be really redundant to keep saying that, but it is. And so if somebody comes in, but like there are exceptions. Like for you, I know that you've mentioned one, and for me, it's a couple of people who I like, but again, the Mark thing, that's the family thing. I can't look the other way on that. That's not cool. But so Kim, what are your thoughts on OnlyFans? Let's talk about OnlyFans.
OnlyFans. Well, I had an OnlyFans.
Do you? How does that
I
do?
did.
Well?
I did.
Oh, you did.
I did have an OnlyFans. I had an OnlyFans in 2016.
Oh.
And so it was actually right around the time that I worked for her biceps webcam.
Okay.
So I started an OnlyFans then, and I used a lot of my like nude modeling pictures that I did with Rob. And so I used a lot of that. And then and I'll just be really honest about this because I tell
Okay.
people I'm really open about it. Look,
Sure.
it was fine for a while and I made great money. But once I started adopting kids, I just ran out of time to be creative,
Yeah.
and to post new things. I just didn't have the time to do it. You got to have those girls have a lot of time to be able to do new creative things. And I just didn't have that. And there was such a demand for it. And I couldn't fulfill that. And I felt like it was kind of unfair.
Is it
It's like, you know what?
difficult?
I'm not going to charge people $20, $25 a month for their subscription to see the same thing that they saw last month. So I just said, you know what, I'm done. So I've been done with OnlyFans for years, actually.
Yeah.
So, I mean, girls are doing really good on it though, from what I can see. I mean, they've been doing a great job and that good for them.
Is
I
it
mean, that's great that they can do that.
from
But
the yeah, sorry. From the logistics side though, how hard is it? Because I've noticed I don't subscribe to anyone, not because I wouldn't want to, but I'm too cheap for that. But I've noticed that there's like, yeah, there's like different tiers, like, and it's like, does OnlyFans do all that for you, or do you have to like? Is that like a lot of legwork behind the scenes and in terms of subscriptions and money coming in and all that, or do they kind of?
Oh, well, that people subscribe and then you get paid out. I mean, the OnlyFans pays you. They take their money off the top.
Oh,
So let's say it's 24.99 a
okay,
month. You're gonna get 19 or $20 a month, and OnlyFans is gonna take the top $5. So
that's not
let's say you
bad.
have 1,200 people that subscribe and you're 24.99, you're gonna get 19 or 20 of that, and OnlyFans is gonna get the rest. And
That's
they
not
do
bad
all
at
that.
all.
They do
No.
all that themselves. When you sign up and when people get a subscription, they sign up and do all
Yeah,
that.
that's not bad at all. Because I mean, if you compare it to like Uber and what's the other one, Lyft, like the people that drive rideshare, like
Yeah,
those things, they take like half, and they're not doing anything. Like the person's driving and like dealing with the people. All they do is provide an app, and I don't know about
yeah,
her biceps. I know her biceps pays very well, but I think some of the campsites take even as much as 50%. I don't know about her biceps, but that's her biceps is like the Cadillac of like
her,
campsites. It's like the
yeah.
best.
Her biceps is a little bit different. Now I was talking about OnlyFans.
Right? No, no,
Her
I
biceps
know.
is a
Yeah,
little bit different.
yeah.
How their payouts are different,
I
and
think,
how you go about that is a little bit different.
yeah,
Because there's different rooms that you can go in. Just chat rooms and fantasy rooms. I mean, and you'll pay more for each
right.
room.
Because I,
Different for each room, so your payouts are different as well, and you get paid. I think it's once a month with
okay.
them.
But the
You
good
know.
thing about them is that they're very big in the fitness industry, and like
Yes.
there's
Yes.
two, yeah, her biceps and HD Physiques both have
Yeah.
some of the best pictures I've ever seen. I mean, this
Yeah.
is like top of the line. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely. I mean, it's a moneymaker.
definitely,
If you have a muscle fetish or,
yeah,
I mean, there's people on OnlyFans that will cater to whatever fetish you have. I mean,
crazy.
so it's money. There's money to be made there for sure. For
And
sure.
I don't know if Wings of Strength would be in that category, but I think initially it was. I mean, they sell calendars and they do all sorts of stuff like that, and they're more muscular women, but
Oh
they
yeah.
do very well. And also, Denise Messina was always part of something called Muscle Pinups, and
Hmm.
their lines were always like around the corner at the Arnold, and
Yeah.
it's crazy because like some people that like to make fun of muscular women, they're like only schmoes. Like that's not true. Like there's some jack guys there that wouldn't look twice at a bikini competitor. They like muscular women. There's just
Yeah.
they're crazy about them. So
Absolutely. There's a
yeah,
huge industry for that. A
yeah,
huge industry.
and it's
Just prude people turn their nose up at it. You know.
yeah, no, and you know it's crazy too. And I know a lot of people won't believe this. I know you know because you're in the industry, but a lot of it isn't even sexual. It's just they just really appreciate muscular women. I mean, just, you know, I know a lot of people want to sexualize everything, but sometimes it's not about
But
that.
it's really not. A
Yeah,
lot of it isn't. They just want a connection. They want a connection with you. And you know what? That is kind of the way it is on social media, period.
right.
You know, men will DM me, will want to chat with me. And you know what? I'll tell you something. It's the honest to God truth. I do talk to people. You know, I do. If someone, hey, you know, I think you're beautiful. How's your day? I'm going to answer them. You know, I don't turn my nose up at anybody. You know, I mean, now if they're being rude or crude and disrespectful,
Right.
then that's it. I won't ever talk to them. But I do talk to people. I met some pretty amazing people, you know, by not being a little and just saying, you know what, they're a person
Right.
too, when they're just asking a question and it's okay to answer them. You know, I mean, I do talk to people. I engage with people on social media. I have for years. You know, I
Yeah,
comment, I talk, I chat, you know, we're friends, whatever. You know, I mean, it's only benefited me and them. You know, I mean, it's a good thing.
definitely. So I think like for next week, I think you should probably do the host. We'll go back and forth. I tried to read comments, but I'm horrible at that. Really, really bad at that. But next week, um, you start it, and then I know you know how to save a live video. I mean, I just out of habit I started it. But and then we had also talked about maybe doing. I'm gonna get some more lights in here because like the connection is great. It just paused a second because it went down to 20%. So probably do this with 100% battery next time. But
I'd
yeah,
like to get a guest on next week.
I would too. And anybody that
Okay.
wants, we put out the open call now. I kind of did it later in the show. So, and I think we may at some point in the future maybe do like a YouTube, like a little 10-minute clip for YouTube or something. I know we had talked
Yeah.
about that. We maybe do that like second or third episode or something. This time we just wanted to kind of like just do the debut, which I thought was great. We talked about a lot of topics, a lot of like background stuff that I don't think a lot of people would have thought we would have talked about. And that's the thing too, like I don't like, at least for me, I'm not trying to push the card and be like controversial and be a shock show or anything. I just want to tell the truth and I just want to say whatever's on my mind. And I think that is to me like pretty groundbreaking because I don't know of a lot of shows that do that. I know a lot of shows that like to, it's like a scripted thing and that's like part of their shtick, but they don't really say what's on their mind. There's a filter. I don't want a filter, or at least for me. And but I'm not trying to shock anyone. And like you might come on here one week and I may not say anything that is even remotely controversial because I'm not trying to be controversial. I just
Right.
trying to like so I'm sure some of our guests will be controversial, like Tony Hughes. And yeah.
Oh yeah.
But the funny thing about him though too is that that's not an act. And the same thing with Greg Valentino. Like I've hung out with Greg with all cameras off, just hanging out.
Yeah.
And that's the same Greg that's on the camera. He's not
Yeah.
a fake, And so that's why I think he's so popular, Kim. Like people like that, I think will always be popular no matter what social media rules come up. They're always going to be popular because people will identify
Because
with
people
them.
can relate to people that are real,
Right.
not to people that put on a show
Right.
and brag about who they are and what
Yeah.
they are. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about that stuff.
Yeah.
I care about people that are going to be real and honest, and not backstabbing. And,
For sure.
that's a big deal to me. So,
And what I would love to see, maybe if you're cool with it, we should probably vote on these things. But like I would like to see one week where I'm not even on. It could be you and Kim,
oh
like
yeah.
just Kim,
Yeah,
and
Kim and I
you
talked
two,
about that. We have a
yeah,
few things we'd like to talk about. Yeah,
because I
that'd be
think that'd
great.
be great. Or me and Omni, or you and Omni, or whatever. I mean, like Omni's a little bit more shy, but I know if we press him, he'll come on. Because I mean, he's got a lot of great ideas. He's an amazing writer, and I don't know if shy is the right word, but he's he's in here, but he's just but it's a little push, little peer pressure. But I mean,
Oh,
yeah, yeah, peer pressure is great. Some
get
of
it.
the best decisions are made thanks to peer pressure. But no,
Yeah.
yeah, no, but I think that'd be great, and just to be able to have that the freedom to do that, because like a lot
Yeah.
of hosts be like, I must be on every episode. I don't have to be on every episode. I could be like they are, like Kim and Omni are. I could be texting on and be on the
Yeah.
episode. You guys could be on camera. So, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think it could be something really big, and then maybe eventually do something on Facebook. Although I did a Facebook like 2 days ago for the Blackstone Labs Legion, and like 10 minutes into it, Omni was on it with me. It just died, and like I went back to the page and it showed me live, but I wasn't live anymore. It was like, I don't know. Facebook owns this, Instagram, but there's something about Facebook. Omni's been in Facebook jail like forever, and like the post that you and him were on, where you were talking about bathrooms, and he said, not to be sexist, but I think that women's bathrooms are probably cleaner. Facebook flagged, nobody reported it. Facebook
I
flagged that as
know,
hate speech.
right? That was
But,
crazy.
you know what I mean? So
That was
there's no way that
crazy.
that's a human being that's doing that. It's a robot. It has to be.
It wasn't bad at all.
I
What we
think it's
said
because it
wasn't
had,
bad.
yeah, I think it's because it had sexist and
Yeah,
woman
maybe.
or something. I don't know, but
Yeah,
it's crazy.
yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
all right. Well,
Okay, you're gonna put this up.
and then I'll chop it up into reels, and you have access to the page. And if you're cool with it, I want to give
Fine.
Kim Romney. Vera, if you're, I already forgot the password, but I think I sent it to you, but I forgot the
You
password.
did.
Okay, but if
Don't say
you're
it.
cool with it, I'd like to give it to. If you're cool with it, I want to give it to Omni and Nurse Kim also.
Yes,
Just those four.
absolutely. Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah, and then we can all four of us grow the page up and do whatever we want. And the other thing too, like you know, like I want to do this like every Wednesday night would be great.
Yeah.
But if one of the four wants to jump on here live on some random day by themselves, like do it, right? Why not?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, that's great. That's
I
great.
think that'd be great. Yeah. So okay, cool.
All
So
right.
for Kim Fidass Haynes and Omni Muscle and Nurse Kim and me, Christian Duque, it's all fair game, and we'll see you next week or whenever we see you. Awesome.
All
Thanks,
right.
guys.